On the road again. I just can't wait to get on the road again. The life I love is making music with my friends. No, I can't wait to get on that road.
Okay, welcome back to another On the Road Again with Shaggy. It is morning, if you can believe it. It is so dark. I just got back in the car from visiting the car repair shop. My daughter bought a car, okay? And I knew a couple things were wrong with it, but we bought it anyway because it was in the price range that she could afford. And I thought, okay, well, it can't be too much wrong with it. Now, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, okay, this is going to bite me in the ass. Because it always does. I always get screwed when I buy new cars. For example, I bought a car from a mechanic, alright, who said everything's good with it. Within 2 months, the transmission died. The transmission was more than the car. You know, and along the way, in that 2 months, it was in the shop more than I was driving it. A brake line froze, a master cylinder died, the entire exhaust system cut out. It was just ridiculous, everything that went wrong with it. I bought a Malibu from a dealership not terribly long ago. One injector would blow, then another injector, then another injector, then another injector, and then, I mean, it was just a disaster. And then, let's see here, what else? Oh yeah, so I had a Sonata, which is what my daughter used to be driving. Its transmission blew. It's like, if anything can go wrong with a car, it usually does if I'm in it. Or if I purchase it. You know, I seem to buy the lemons. The ones people con you into. So I bought this off of this guy. And the guy seemed like he knew what he was doing, what he was saying. He said he'd already done a bunch of stuff to it. And in all honesty, the stuff that the repair shop tells me needs fixed aren't things that he did. So he didn't break anything. It's just additional things which needed to be done. But she gave $2,200 for the car. It needs $700 worth of work. Now, in great condition, it's only worth $2,600, $2,800 maybe. So, I mean, she might be able to get her money back out of it. I don't know. It's a little VW Beetle. So, it's cute. She loves the car. But it's going to cost some money to get it back to get it to a point where she can drive it on a regular basis. She hasn't really even driven the car yet. You know, and it got me to thinking, my first car was a $500 car. Alright? Now, the roof didn't have a liner. Alright? There was no fabric up here. Okay? The radio didn't work. But mechanically, everything was fine on it. Everything else worked fine. And I had one key, but I could go to the store and have a key made. It wasn't a big deal. Alright? It was a Chevy Celebrity. An 88 Chevy Celebrity I bought for $500. There are no $500 cars anymore. There's no car which is fine mechanically and just has some cosmetic damage. Like, my car didn't have any rust on the outside. And I always look at rust as bad, you know. Now, this car that she got, it's got some surface rust on the bottom quarter panels, things like that. It's nothing major. Not even on the quarter panels. They're on the running boards. But, you know, really nothing bad. But still, I hate rust on a car. The car I'm driving now has a bit of rust on the back, and it bothers me. But what happened to the $500 cars? We've talked about this on the show before. Your first car. How bad was your first car? I mean, mine was pretty bad. I put the emergency brakes on one time and they wouldn't come off. But that was the only thing that was ever wrong with that car mechanically. Other than that, it just ran. I can't say that's true for this one. This one, there's a wheel bearing going out. There is sensors which need replaced. One of which I'm going to do myself just to try and save myself some money. And there is there might be a problem with the oil filter, which is inside the oil pan. I'm hoping that's not true. I'm hoping what I read on the internet is actually true. There's a coolant sensor. All these electronics in cars only cause us more problems. That's what we need. Less electronics in cars. Instead of going all electric, we should go all mechanical cars. Screw all electric. Can you imagine trying to work on an all electric car? I bet it can't be done. I bet you can't shade tree mechanic a Nissan Leaf. I don't see how you could do it. There can't be anything that you can work on. You know, maybe replace a battery cable. That's it. But what could you do? What could you do? Nothing. Charge the air conditioner. Maybe. Well, it probably takes some weird foreign, AC thing. But beyond that. So it's about $750 to get my daughter's car into working shape. Not working shape. It would probably work the way it is, but it's just, it's not, it's my kid, so I'm a bit paranoid. Overly cautious, maybe, I'd say. Kids. They're a lot of money. So anyway, maybe we'll do another one on the way home. Okay, so I'm on my way home tonight, and just got to thinking, I haven't shared a bit of information. We'll probably share it on the show, but I will give it to you on the road again, listeners, before it hits the general airwaves. Nate will not be continuing with the show after sometime in August. So you can figure the middle of August or so is going to be his last show. Now, good, bad, or indifferent, I couldn't tell you. Some of you know that I've had issues with Nate on the show before, but he's one of my few friends, so I let it slide a lot of times. Mostly I just wish he was more involved with the show. And I know things are tough, and he's got personal things going on and whatnot, so there are some excuses which can be made, but in general, I give him shit for it a lot. And most of the time it's deserved. So will his departure from the show affect the show? No, it won't, because we've done a lot of shows with just Mike, Colin, and myself, so that's not a big deal. We've always said from the beginning that if something else comes up which takes time away from it, or that you'd rather do, or that if it's just not working for you anymore, the show should go. You shouldn't hold on to it just because. And that's true for all of us. We've all kind of agreed to that, and that's just the way it is. I enjoy the show. I love doing the show, and so I'm going to keep doing the show. A lot of my my parents, my friends, and my family, they don't get why I like doing the show. I just enjoy it. It's something different. It's kind of like doing these little video segments. Really, there's no reason for me to do them. I don't get a million followers. I don't get 100 followers. I just get things off of my chest a little bit. I do them because I enjoy them. So Nate leaving the show might actually give me a little bit of more normality, because most of the time he comes running in about 5 minutes till the show's supposed to start, and I gotta be running to try and get things set up since he came in late. Whereas Colin shows up at 5:30 and we're good to go. Mike's always there. Mike's dependable. Mike is the go-to guy. He's as into the show as I am. And I think Colin's about the same. So, but that's the big thing, is that Nate's going to be leaving, and I don't think we're going to be looking to replace him. I think we're okay with the staff that we have. I think the three of us can keep it going and have fun with it. And if it goes down to just two of us, whatever two is left, I think that can happen too. I don't think if we went back, I don't think that if this was left on my shoulders or any one person's shoulders, it would stay in its current form, that's for sure, for very long. Because one person, it's not going to happen. It might, if it was just one of us, you'd probably just see On the Road Again, or The 8-Man Goeth, or Colin's Car Talk become, the show. That would be the show. Which is interesting. I need to talk to Colin and see if he would be interested. Would you be interested in watching a Colin Car Talk? Because I know he has a drive to and from work to do. So it might be interesting to get one of his. But he doesn't talk. He's not a talker. He doesn't talk to himself. It'd be that would be the whole show. It'd be the Colin show with video. That's what it would be. So yeah, that's a big breaking news for those of you that are watching the commentaries, saying that Nate's going to be leaving the show, and pretty much it's okay. We'll be just fine. So stay tuned. All right, something's been rolling around in my head for a while. Thought I'd get it out there. Question: what would it take to unify the world? Now I'm not talking about just getting everybody to agree on something. I'm talking about what would it take to actually unify everybody in a common cause, a common, everybody's for everybody else. The reason I ask that is because, one of the things that you see, or I watch a lot of, is Star Trek. Okay? Lately I've been rewatching Star Trek Enterprise, which is pre-Federation. Alright? It's pre-Federation of Planets. And it's right after really Earth was visited by the Vulcans. And it's interesting because they're talking about in that the World War III happened, the world was falling apart, but yet we still made this great scientific discovery, and aliens came down, and that was the catalyst for getting the world under control, for bringing everybody together in a unified manner, and putting a foot up our ass to get our own house in order. All right. Now, in looking at the world as it is today, there's a lot of problems. All right. There are a ton of problems. There are over 200 countries. There's probably just as many or more languages. There are God knows how many religions, all right, which seem to be a huge problem. Some religions want to get along with everybody. Other religions want to destroy everybody that's not part of their religion. And nobody's to say who's right or who's wrong. Personal choice versus government control. All these different things come into play. So the question that I have is, what would it take? Did Star Trek get it right years ago? And the only thing that could actually unify us is a visit from someplace else. Someone else, somewhere else. Or, indications that we're not the only ones out there. Because, believe it or not, even though the most, prideful scientist, whatever, says that, yes, the possibility of life is out there, and some have even said, well, we'd be stupid if we didn't think life was out there. Nobody has really come out and said what the effect on society would be if it was told that yes, there is life out there. We're not the center of the universe. I mean, long ago it was a held belief that we were, and I think to some degree, even though we've disproven it, from a physics standpoint, from a cosmological standpoint, I think human beings as a whole still think of themselves as the center of the universe. We're still really arrogant. Americans are a great, example of that. America. Just think of that applied at the human level, because that's what it is. We believe we are better than everybody else out there. We believe we're the best country. We believe that we're the only ones that have freedom, and we know that's not true. We believe we have the best economy. We know that's not true. The best education. We know that's not true. We believe we build the best shit. We know that's not true. We're not innovators anymore. You know, there's a clip going around online again, you know, from a movie that basically says America is not the greatest country in the world. And, you know, but we used to be. But think of that at a global level. You know? Earth. Think of the redneck. We're the rednecks of the universe, conceivably. How does that look? You know? If there really is intelligent life out there, regardless of what their qualifications for contact is, who would want to talk to us? We are so screwed up. You know? So I ask you, what would it take? Is it going to take World War III where we decimate half the population before we get our ass in gear and, you know, figure it out that we all have to work together? What's it going to take? You know? How many more wars do we need to have? How many more people have to die? How many more of any of this do we have to figure it out? To find something that we can all agree on? There isn't one thing that we can agree on. I bet you there is not one thing that anyone can agree on at the UN. There's nothing that has universal support anywhere. You know, and just sad. Just sad that we've come this far. Because I look at how far we've come in computers, and God, I remember the first one, you know? And, yeah. Nowhere close to understanding it.